All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Cote. I'm the acting Provost and Academic Dean at Maine Maritime. Been in this job since December. Before that, I was an engineering professor here for over 20 years. When Kelly asked me to talk with you today, I was thinking back to when I was making my college decision. And I grew up in a little town in northern Maine called Holton. I was the first member of my family to go to college, and I remember wanting to do something technical and having a family friend tell me about Maine Maritime Academy and what it offered. We did not have open houses back then, but I did come down and visit the campus, and very quickly felt that it was the place for me because it was very career focused. I had the opportunity to learn a lot of hands-on things, and I found it to be the right place for me, bottom line. And it opened up a lot of opportunities for me while I was a student, and once I was a practicing engineer, worked for many years in the power industry, then went to graduate school, and finally, after a while, came back to Maine Maritime as an instructor. I've been here for, as I mentioned, almost 28 years now. I still hold my Coast Guard license and still go on the training cruise as one of the instructors there. So very much see the value of what we do here, and really have lived it over the course of my life. So I hope we can give you some insight into what we offer and what makes us a special and unique institution. So for the next several minutes, we're going to do just an overview of the academic programs that are offered here at Maine Maritime. You will hear significantly more detail about each of these programs as we go. So don't expect that the things I'm going to say are going to give you the detail that you're probably looking for. This is sort of to set the table for what is really our core product, the degrees that we give you folks as you go through and finish school here. So Kelly, if we could go to the first slide, please. So starting in our Marine Transportation Department, we offer basically 3 programs online, on campus. 2 of them are 4-year degrees. The Marine Transportation degree, which is our traditional degree. It was one of the first 2 degrees that we offered here at Maine Maritime Academy, leads to a unlimited third mate license, as well as a Bachelor of Science degree. The Vessel Operations and Technology 4-year degree, which leads to a Bachelor of Science degree with a 500-ton or a 1,600-ton license, depending on what kind of cadet shipping and internships you do during the course of that program. And then our 2-year degree, the Small Vessel Operations, which leads to an associate's degree and a 200-ton mate's license. We do offer a couple programs in joint mode with the landing school, small craft design and small craft systems. If you're interested in those programs, there's quite a bit of information available on our website, as well as I'm sure it'll be touched on in the next few minutes. But Marine Transportation are the folks that operate our ships topside. They're the ones that figure our courses, deal with the cargoes, and they are the commanders of the ships. They are going on track to be captains of the ships of whatever size they are operating. So again, one of our traditional areas of marine-focused education. Next slide, please, Kelly. So our engineering department has what I like to describe as sort of 3 flavors of engineering. Starting in the middle with marine engineering operations. This was the original engineering degree that was offered here at Maine Maritime. The 4 marine programs all lead to a third assistant engineer's license, in addition to a Bachelor of Science degree. Marine engineering operations is our most hands-on focused engineering degree, and has a significant number of electives and other options within it. And really gives you the opportunity to do with your hands and focus on that side of being an engineer. Marine engineering technology basically takes that core marine engineering operations curriculum and replaces several of the electives with required courses in math, science, and technology. And what that allows you to do if you take that track is, for one thing, it gives you more options, especially if you want to come shoreside, because the marine engineering technology degree is what's known as ABET accredited. It is accredited by a national engineering and engineering technology accreditation agency. And what that accreditation means, in addition to the fact that shoreside employers know what it is, it also allows you to sit for that fundamentals of engineering exam that Kelly mentioned earlier, which with suitable work experience could allow you at some point to become a professional engineer. That's not an option if you stay with marine engineering operations. And lastly, our two sort of flagships, a four-year degree, Marine Systems Engineering, which does not get the U.S. Coast Guard license as part of it, and our really what I consider to be our world-class, probably one of the best engineering programs in the world, engineering degree, and your third assistant engineer's license over the course of that program. Those graduates have done some amazing things over their careers, both at sea and shoreside. So if you're really strong in math, if you really feel sciences are an area that you're interested in, either of the Marine Systems Engineering degrees are a good path for you. We did find that a lot of our alumni, especially after they shipped for a while, ended up going back shoreside to work in the power area, operating power plants all over the world. And so we created two programs
Okay, I'm not sure if you, I think you can't hear Mark right now, so I am going to pick up kind of where he is just to keep us on track. Obviously, this is his forte, and we hope that he can get back on. Obviously, we are all located somewhere different today, so that we are respecting the stay-at-home regulations that have been put in place. So just to kind of pick up power engineering operations and power engineering technology. These are our power plant students. Our professor, who is also an alumni of this program, of the power engineering department, Sadie Ali Ferreira, is going to actually do the presentation. She will have students on as well that will talk to you about what our power engineers do. This does not require the regiment. These students will sit for a stationary license. They will operate power plants, generators. There's a lot of talk about wind turbines, things of that nature. And international business and logistics. We have one four-year degree program within this major, or in this academic department. We call it IBL. These are all the students who make the world move. So we like to kind of talk about it, how we all walk into Walmart on a normal kind of situation, and everything that we can possibly think of is there. Well, how does it get there? How do we get our cell phones? How do we get our food, our fuel? Even the things that we make or build here in America still have to be transported. If you are looking at media right now, social media, some of the other outlets, they're talking about the essential employees and all of our truckers, our mariners who are moving things from place to place so that we can stay at home. They make sure that everything gets everywhere. Well, there are logisticians who are sitting behind making sure that what needs to get on each vessel or on the train when the ship pulls into the port, that they are getting the cargo off and bringing it to where it needs to be. So it really is more of supply chain management and close to 100% job placement in that program after graduation. We do also have 2 master's programs, and they both fall within this department. The International Logistics Management is a 19-month online program. There is information on our website. We can also put you in contact with the people who do run that program. It is a very nice program because it is online. It is set up to be online, you know, not like us trying to scramble to do this online open house today. And it does work with students who, or graduates who are shipping, things of that nature. It is very easy to assimilate into a working lifestyle. The Maritime Management Masters and Commanders program is more of a hybrid type program. So it is that online master's degree. However, there is also the 200-ton license along with it. So that does require you to be on campus for a year, or not technically on campus, but in Castine for a year, or one of the local areas, so that you can attend those hands-on courses to get your 200-ton license, and the 19-month online graduate program so that you do get that master's degree. Ocean studies, you will notice that this slide is a little different. So for those of you who have been with us for a while, especially our accepted students, we do have our marine biology program, but our marine science program was actually was just changed by our faculty senate to be called oceanography. And that is what it is. So we just wanted to make sure that students who didn't know what marine science was were more familiar with the term oceanography. And our new program, Coastal and Marine Environmental Science. That's my typo, sorry. And so that is one of our newer programs here. We have our first class of freshmen who are taking that program. The Ocean Studies program itself, the first 2 years are all very similar. So while we do have you select a major when you come in, you do have the opportunity to change once you are here. The foundational science classes that you need to take in those programs really span all 3 different majors. The part that I like to talk about is dual degree option with small vessel operations. This is something that really makes us unique. It usually does make it more of a 5-year program, but our graduates leave with both a bachelor's of science degree in the area that they want to study in ocean studies, as well as a 200-ton near coastal license. So our students can actually go out and not just be the researcher on NOAA vessels, or not just you know, do water sampling, but they can also be ship drivers, even backup ship drivers. So when research money is tight and every single person needs a role, our students can actually fill 2 roles in that capacity when they're out working. It is a very nice thing to have. We find that some actually just go into the maritime side too, even though they have that science background. So unfortunately, I can talk about the hands-on learning, but Mark was definitely the pro or the professional on this. As he mentioned—
Back if you want, Kelly.
Here you are, sir. Yes, take it over.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I apologize for the technical delays. We have intermittent internet connectivity at my house, but hopefully it'll behave for a few minutes now. As I mentioned when I told you my decision-making process, one of the key features of all of our programs here at Maine Maritime is this idea that you are going to get to practice what you learn in the classroom, in our labs, and in our ships, and doing the things that you'll be doing when you graduate. And you'll have the capability for an engineer to weld, to use a lathe. If you're a ship driver, you're going to have driven ships of multiple size, have navigated through the open ocean, through intercoastal waterways. You're going to have the skills that you need to, from the first day on the job, make a contribution to what you're working on. And when we talk to employers, that's typically the key thing they say that differentiates a Maine Maritime graduate from graduates of other schools. And what you'll find is the faculty that teach you all have that hands-on experience that they're teaching you about. We do not typically have faculty who are, people went right from undergraduate to graduate school to being a college professor. Almost all of our faculty have worked in their fields for multiple years, especially in the marine-related areas. You'll notice that a lot of our faculty have the rank of captain or hold the license of chief engineer. And that is part of what makes our education process so valuable, is that those folks transfer that information to our students while they're here. And it's not just a demonstration by the faculty member and then going on. It's the faculty member will demonstrate something and then the students will actually get the chance to do it. And it's that doing, that practicing, that really makes our students top flight contributors from the first day on the job and when they leave here. So I think, if you're interested in that kind of education, if you took those kind of classes in high school, if you like to work on cars, if you're a gardener, doesn't really matter what kind of outside interests you have. If there's a hands-on application to it, coming to Maine Maritime will help you get better at any of those things you're interested in. And again, we'll give you skills that you really can bring to your job right from the start. So next slide. As you heard the President and both Kelly mention, we have been found to be a highly valued education. And the key number that we've been able to sort of hang our hat on for the last multiple decades, really, is that when our students graduate, they get jobs. And that was definitely something that attracted me to the school back 40 years ago. And it still applies to our graduates today. And it's gotten to the point where over the last several years that when we have career fairs and we have companies come for interviewing especially our seniors, that they've realized that they have to come in earlier and earlier in the academic year if they want to be able to get the best of our students, because our students are in demand. Many of our students will have a job offer before they leave to go home for Christmas of their senior year. And as you've heard multiple times, 90% of our students will be employed within 90 days after graduation. And the ones that aren't typically have a different focus. They're either getting ready to go to graduate school or they have some other goal right at that time that they don't necessarily want to go to full-time employment. So try to give you the skills that employers value, and employers are telling us that by their actions, they do value those. So next slide. So at that point, between me and Kelly, we've given you an overview of our various academic programs. One thing I don't know whether Kelly mentioned or not was We do have a number of minors that you can get in addition to your base degree. So if you want to major in marine transportation, you could also get a minor in business. If you want to be a oceanographer, you could also minor in math if you had, again, an interest in grad school or something like that later on. We also offer concentrations. So there are a number of different tracks that you can choose as you go through here. And the things that continue to amaze me about our graduates is how diverse they are after they graduate. They may have had very specific goals when they came, but the job that they chose, the employer that they chose, will give you a number of opportunities to do things well beyond what you thought you were going to do. So at that point, I think we have a few minutes now for questions. Kelly, and I'm not sure how best to do this. I'll let you run the technology, and if someone can ask a question, I'll do my best to answer it.
Sir, can you just touch upon the power engineering when you got,
Sure.
Since that was your forte, I probably didn't do a great job.
Sure. So the two power engineering options that we have at both operations and technology sort of mirror those programs on the marine side. So the power engineering operations has a lot of electives. It's very easy to get a minor if you take power engineering operations, and you come out with a much more hands-on focused degree. Power engineering technology adds more required classes in math and science and technology. It is accredited by that national accreditation agency, the Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology, and those graduates can sit for the FE exam and potentially go on to get licensed as a professional engineer. Both those programs can get stationary engineer licenses from the state of Maine. They are really only applicable if you work in the state, but it's a credential that you know, will strengthen your resume no matter where you work. And the power engineering operations folks get licensed at the 4th class level, and the technology folks get licensed at the 3rd class level in their stationary engineering licenses. So those programs have been going for almost 30 years now, and we've had really good success with our graduates in that program, those two programs as well.
So, sir, I will just take, we did have one question that asked about transferring from an active duty status. And so I will just touch upon this question and answer it live.
Sure.
We regularly have student veterans as well as reservists on campus. We have a number of our students who are in the National Guard or in the Air Guard, and we can facilitate, you know, schedule adjustments and things like that for you as well. What you will get is called a JST, a Joint Service Transcript, as you leave, which will include all of the different courses that you've taken in the military. So when you do apply to us, students will send us their JST. They will also send us their DD-214. So if you have actually already processed, if you are in, you will not have a DD-214. But if you have left the service in any capacity, you can forward that to us too. We do make sure that that information goes to our registrar, Amy Gutto. She does an amazing job with all transfer credit. So whether you have AP credit, college transfer credit from all different sources of college, you know, whether you were a high school student getting college credit, or whether you were a transfer student at another college. And she will actually put all of those together and put it in your academic plan. So you can actually see where those different classes fit in your program. So if you took English Comp, in place of English Comp here in your academic plan, it will show that you have those credits. And I think that covers that question. So we just did get another question about schooners. And so the person who just asked about schooners, we are gonna start in about 4 minutes with Captain Rick Miller. And we have 2 students as well who are gonna join that program. And he will touch upon vessel operations and technology, which is our major that primarily focuses on schooner. He will also talk to you about what he does in the summer. This past summer when he came back to campus, I was afraid he might not want to come back because he was sailing and really enjoying his time, utilizing his license. So Isaac just asked if there is a benefit to being in the regiment while going to MMA for IBL, and that is a personal decision. So we do have leadership opportunities that are embedded in everything we do here. Obviously, being part of the regiment is a unique aspect of our life here. It does, employees do look at that because it is a voluntary opportunity. If you are in IBL and decide to, or in Power or Ocean Studies and decide to be in the regiment, you do not sail during the summer months, so you are just in the regiment for those full years. Captain Cashman will be on later on today, and he will be able to talk to you about the voluntary opportunities. We have some students who do it for a year and really get a lot out of it, and then we have some that do it all 4 years as well. Okay, so Paige asked how we will know for sure that outside credits that we've taken at other colleges will apply here to a major. So we definitely have a very unique curriculum here for all of our different majors. If it does not count because it's not a class we have, usually there are free elective classes that are embedded in each of the curriculums. So as Mark had mentioned, we have minors here. Those minors are what you're going to take in those free elective classes. So if you are a transfer student and have taken courses, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. If you've taken courses that aren't really aligning with your academic major here, we will use those in place of some of those free elective credits. And okay, Pearson, so the interdisciplinary program, I'm not sure if Mark can talk to it better than I can. It is not an academic major that you actually apply to. And so the interdisciplinary studies major is when you decide that you actually want to combine 2 different majors here. There is a core curriculum of credits that you have to take within those 2 curriculums, and sometimes it can be even 3 different curriculums. Mark, can you say anything more about interdisciplinary studies?
In general, it's not, it's definitely not a main track program. We do allow it, but it's not sort of in the wheelhouse of what we typically would see our students want to do. If you want to, have focus in multiple areas, some of our dual majors are probably a more straightforward way to go. One of the concerns we have with the interdisciplinary major is it isn't really focused. And a lot of times a student may think they're putting together something that's unique, and it's so unique that the job market for it may not be what they think. So we're glad to talk with it about anyone who has a specific thing that they would like to try, but we'll give them the advice that we can based on where it is. So it is an option, but it's not something that very many of our students take advantage of. And I think that's probably the right way to look at it right now.
Yes, and I think with the opportunity to have minors, most of our students will have their major track, and then they find that that minor option really has replaced any interest in that interdisciplinary kind of program. We do have another really good question that I just want to answer before I turn it over to Captain Miller. And it is, hold on one second, it just went away. It popped off my screen. Do we have to join the regiment if we take a licensed track? So the only license tracks that require the regiment is the unlimited license majors. So the marine transportation, marine engineering operations, marine engineering technology, and the systems 5-year are the only majors that actually require the regiment. It is not because we require it necessarily, it is because it's required by the Coast Guard. And so that's part of that licensing program, is to be in a regimental body, to wear uniforms, and to have a hierarchy kind of chain of command. So now it is 1 o'clock. We kind of just, we just hit the time. I'm going to turn it over to Captain Miller and 2 of his students that will be joining him. Sir, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.